Here we go.
An Elegant Weapon is brought to you by Nemesis Studios.
That's old school. I hit the old school
Elegant
Nemesis
weapon.
Studios.
That was nice.
For the more civilized age.
Oh, yeah. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to An Elegant Weapon. My name is J.M. Clark, J. the Jedi Ross. This is episode 377. It's so wonderful to have you back here, as always, with us in the Smoking Pod Studio, beautiful Hamilton, Ontario, Canada. Joining us tonight, off the cuff, out of nowhere. It's a big old surprise for y'all, ladies and gentlemen, returning to the show for the 482nd time, Mr. Dirk Manning. How are you doing, my friend?
Good. I can't wait till it's like the 666th time, or even like the 113th time.
Right,
Either one would be fine. But yeah, this is like much like a lot that's happened in the last couple of weeks. Sorry, I'm just sharing this on the socials.
Yeah, that's always the first awkward moment, kids, and everybody knows. Like, I still haven't figured this out because I'm going to click expand, and there I hear you, and then I have to mute it before I can look at the comments. It's a weird, crazy, zany technical world we're living in.
It is, but I appreciate the fact that, you know, like I said, like a lot of things right now are just, you know, in my life lately have been just kind of off the cuff and pleasant surprises, which I'm sure we'll get to. But I really appreciate the fact that all the times we've done this, we what do we pregame for? 15 seconds?
Yeah.
Before we came on the air here.
And we have so much to catch up on too, but we can do that later on. But there's lots we can catch up going on in the world that we're here to talk to you all about. Dirk's got exciting things happening, but a little bit of housekeeping before we get into that, Dirk, that you can join me on here.
Oh yes, hold on.
As I enjoy my iced tea.
I got my
oh, you got your Vernors?
Got my Vernors.
Got your Vernors there, by. All right.
This is the Kickstarter drink of choice because you're always a bundle of nerves. So the Vernors, as we know, is like Michigan medicine.
So there's a strange connection there that I was unaware of, where Werner, right?
Mm-hmm.
He created his ginger ale, and okay, I may not get this exactly right, but then he went off and had something to do with Canada Dry. Then returned to Michigan and created like the Vernors brand or something along those lines. There is a connection between Vernors and Canada Dry that I was unaware of, but I heard about like in a trivia segment on a show, on a podcast, you know?
Well, there's the joke obviously about Vernors being Michigan medicine and things like that. And when other people talk about ginger ale of any type, it's like there's ginger ale, and then there's Vernors. It's a whole, and it's not like a brand loyalty thing. It's just a very different type of. Some people would say soda, but pop. It's a different type of pop. It's a different type of drink. It's a different type of beverage.
Absolutely. That's why I drink the. See, I love the iced tea, and I had to get off the soda pop because the soda pop was just you're drinking your calories away. You know what I mean?
Right.
And the same thing with iced tea, but then Nestea has a zero, Nestea Zero.
Okay, yeah.
You can't tell the difference. It's not like diet sodas where, you can taste like the aspartame or whatever the hell they're using there, right?
Right.
It tastes exactly like normal Nestea. So this has been like a huge treasure for me because I love iced tea. So I just drink Nestea Zero all the time, and it's incredible, and it's 0 calories, right?
We are in a day and age, and you and I are in an age where like the diet stuff was always really gross. And now we're to a point where we care about that stuff. Like I said, but it tastes good. Because normally I don't drink a lot of pop. I'll drink pop on the road, maybe that's about it. Sometimes podcasting, if I'm having a late night or something, this will be like my little energy boost. So, for the night. But yeah, doing a Kickstarter, like, call me. And I've been eating a lot of these lately.
Oh God, dude! You put a bag down in front of those in front of me, it's over. It's done. It's forget about it.
It calms the rumble bellies. It calms the anxiety. It about when you're out on blast. Doing what we're doing. which by the way,
Right.
congratulations on how Cauldron's going.
Oh, see, I was about to jump into that. Crystal, good friend Crystal Hope. She just, hey, she's back. She actually just crossed the border. Crazily enough, she got exempt for things that she had.
What is her magic?
I don't want to get into it because it's kind of her stuff, right?
Fair enough.
But,
Yeah, never mind. We don't. Yeah, that's true.
but she did. She managed to pop
we're
over.
living in
But
interesting times.
I don't think she'll mind me saying this, but she turned her excursion into a camping trip where she stayed like in a campsite on one side of the border and then a campsite when she went over the border, and absolutely minimized the hell out of human connection. Like no hotels, no like dealing with those people, right?
Right.
So she was able to pop over, and okay, she says it's okay. It's a medical exemption.
Okay.
So yeah, she had to go for, there's a specialist that she needs to see in Boston. And
Awesome.
yeah, so she had to
Right.
she had to pop over the border there, and she went like the long way around. And yeah, so she camped on both sides. Absolutely brilliant. It's
That's a good move.
fantastic. Cauldron, kids.
Yeah.
Cauldron. Okay.
Rushing it.
Just insane. Volume 4 of Cauldron. We just started the Kickstarter the other day after having an amazing launch event at the Raid Studio, brand new Raid Studio in Toronto, Queen Street, Extreme West nowadays. Gorgeous little spot. Went out there for the launch party. It was wonderful. Host Ramon Perez and the Raid people are always fantastic.
Safely as well.
Mm-hmm. And they've got a little cafe in there now, and it's just incredible. Everybody should go by and check it out. But the whole front area is a gallery. So until I think October 18th, sometime, I may be wrong about the date. If anybody out there is watching, Sam or anybody, let me know the date. But it's just started, and the gallery showing is going to be on for, I think it's about a month. But you can drop by Raid Studio and you can bid on all the stuff on the wall. It's all original art from all the past 3 volumes of Cauldron, and I think there's some new stuff from volume 4 as well. So
gorgeous cover too. I remember.
Okay.
I think I'm allowed to say this now, but I may have seen a sneak peek of the cover before things went live.
Yes, you did. Yeah,
maybe.
Yeah.
And I was just like, God, just gorgeous stuff. And
that would be Paul Limyenko, who is just a superstar. I learned of Paul because he did some like flashback sequence stuff on a book called Neon Black by Kevin Briones.
I know that book. Yes,
and
we've talked about that book before, if I'm not mistaken.
It's incredible. That book it's one of my favorites. And having Paul working on Cauldron and tell me, like, considering everything Cauldron's been going for, and what it's trying to provide that was once provided in the past, what it's inspired by, you could not have painted a more perfect cover for this type of anthology than Paul just pulled off. And that's a brand new character called Satanella. And she's got some stories in the book, and she in fact meets my character, the Dweller in the Cellar, who you can all meet if you go and watch the Kickstarter videos. He's kind of the crypt keeper of Cauldron magazine. But today I think we got to it. I think they crossed 500% funded.
Amazing.
On the Kickstarter. Yeah, absolutely insane. As well, we have been named a project we love on Kickstarter. So
well earned. And it's like a horror version of heavy metal, which I think is just perfectly encapsulates what Cauldron's about. I'm super excited. I pledged to get my copy already.
You're a sweet.
You're gonna need to sign it though, because you're in it. When we
That's the weird thing, that there's a few comic books out there now that I signed a couple at the launch show on Saturday, and it's always weird for me. It doesn't feel right. Like I go ahead because of course I get to sign shit, right? But at the same time, there's that little bit of imposter syndrome because I didn't do anything. I just made it. All these guys. See, shout outs to everyone involved, all you insane creators, because, I put in like half an hour time of throwing on some stupid clothes and running around in a basement going, right? And all these other incredible creators are putting months and months into these books. And I mean, Shane and Sam and Casey, all the founders of this book, Shane Heron, Casey Parsons, Sam Noir, Ricky Lima, they've got this thing down to like a science now. Like this is a well-oiled machine. Like volumes are planned far in advance, right? And they got work coming. And to be able to wrangle this amount of creators all coming into, one little central hub. It's been an amazing thing they've pulled off. And it just started as a couple friends wanting to put out something that they love and something that, used to inspire them. And it's been an incredible experience. So congratulations to everybody, all you hard workers who have put months and months into some incredible stories. Kids, go to Cauldron Volume 4 Kickstarter, please, and keep those rewards pumping, because it just means more art and more rewards and more stretch goals and this and that for all you wonderful kids out there. So congratulations to the whole team. Cauldron kicking ass. We're still going to work on getting it a little more stateside. Sorry, I just needed to adjust that there.
Yeah, interesting hat.
In case anybody out there with a big giant beard is watching, big giant red beard.
Well, and I will say for my people too, if you're fans of things like Nightmare World or Love Stories to Die For, that horror anthology, or perhaps, I don't know, the new book I have on Kickstarter right now, Buried But Not Dead, which we'll talk about in a moment. Cauldron is a perfect companion piece to people that like that kind of stuff.
Yes, yeah.
Obviously, Cauldron's its own thing, Buried But Not Dead. But I mean, I'm just saying that if you like what I do, I like Cauldron, so by proxy, you would probably like Cauldron as well.
Absolutely. It's definitely that demographic. But the cool thing is about Cauldron too is that, there's stuff in there that's very much like what you've done. And, there's lots of stuff that's way out there. And there's so much different stuff in it is what's really, really cool about it. So,
well, yeah, that's the name of the game. And that's what makes the anthology model fun.
I think someone may want to say hi.
Yes.
You see that?
Hi. Get out of here, man.
There's a cameo.
Hello,
right there.
girl. There's the big hug. I miss you. Hello. Okay, that was like my cyber hug.
Cyber hugs flying through the internet. How was dinner? Did you enjoy dinner? Yes. That's good.
I saw the shadow and I got all excited. I'm like, are we gonna get to say hi?
Well, I'm sure she popped down to see your pretty face. She's probably wondering how far into this podcast will be until the post podcast doob. But we'll get to that as soon as we're done yapping about Kickstarters here. So there you go.
Miss you. Miss everybody, and that's the thing too.
Oh, Drina Joe, Aaron, you get a heart from Drina Joe in the comments there. Look at this.
That. All the love. Aaron's getting all the love. And that's the thing.
Crystal wrote a bunch of stuff. I'm sorry, Crystal, I missed it all. I'll get to it. But there you go, kids. There's a surprise, not only surprise guest Dirk Manning, but a surprise cameo from the cute vixen herself. There you go.
Indeed.
How's that work, eh?
And that's the thing too, we talked about this before, so we don't need to belabor it, but
hold on a sec. There's roaches outside, I'm pretty sure. There's some half dudes. Gotta be a good roommate,
I'll send you a York.
Yes, York. Oh, she's a fan too.
But
so we were talking about that and the fans and everybody getting along and loving it because they're gonna love all the cool stuff that's happening out of Kickstarter right now. And I love the fact that this campaign is going on at the same time as the Quickstarter. Yeah. Now we're all in quarantine. All this shit came down on us. What are we going to do? We got nothing to do. All our lives, our souls were ripped from us, especially those of us who are not introverts. I think there hasn't been a lot of notice about,
checking on your local extroverts.
Well, yeah, because this is a time for introverts, and you've heard it, and kids from the 90s and they know how to do it. They know how to quarantine. They're happy with themselves. They're happy doing their thing. But there are those of us who are used to a social lifestyle because that's what drives us, people and community, and these type of gatherings. And it's really, really difficult on some of us to because you feel so just not alone. Like, I don't feel lonely, but you feel like lost. You feel empty. You don't have that thing to look forward to that you're going to exert so much effort in.
What we just did is a perfect example. Getting to see the cute vixen herself for a minute. Just that. Yeah. Now, mind you, of course, we could set up a Zoom and chat or whatever. We're all busy, but just like the random, like, hey, love you, miss you, see you soon.
Yeah.
But conversely, like you said, this is one of those things where I think we all got to the point where we had to decide how we were going to progress and how we were going to get back to work. You know what I mean? SourcePoint, we've talked about at length, how they really hit the ground running and really thrived in this environment. As an organization, I was very proud to help SourcePoint, with what I could do, like we all were.
Right.
But then it's like, okay, what are we going to do for ourselves now? You take the time to adjust and things like that. And with this Quickstarter idea, I've wanted to do Buried But Not Dead for a long time.
Well, that's where I was getting at with this.
Yeah.
Like, we're all sitting around with nothing to do, and you are one of those extroverted people who, you're not, as much as you're out there doing your job, pushing your stuff, you love a good show. You love seeing the family.
Yeah.
And
yeah,
it
that's true.
feeds you. It feeds you like it feeds me.
That is true.
And a lot
and
of
I'm
people,
also good going,
right? Well, yeah, of course, but I mean, that's kind of the sign of a good balance, right?
Right. That's exactly
But
right.
here you are, and what are we going to do? So you're like, well, let's do what we always do, but you kind of condense things a little, and you came up with this quick starter idea. So before we, just dive into the assumption of it all, I'm going to assume there may be a few new people who have no idea what we're talking about. So you were in the middle of quarantine, you got bored. This was your idea. Explain it.
Well, and I wouldn't quite say it was I got bored. It's more like it really provided the opportunity to do this thing which I wanted to do.
Right.
I just dropped a link in the chat so people can see it. What it was is I was supposed to have 3 books come out this year, and then everything fell apart.
Right.
I still had about SourcePoint, Right or Wrong 2, Cthulhu Jr., all this other stuff, and everything just went sideways and, whatever. So as the dust kind of settled and things like that, and it's like, okay, how are we going to move forward here? And you can start to realign. And when you do like the Tales of Mystery Omnibus or Tales of Mystery Volume 5, I think Tales of Mystery Volume 5 is like almost 200-page book or something like that, give or take.
Jesus.
It's close. It's close to 200 pages. It's a big book. Or the Mystery Omnibus, obviously, of the first 4 volumes, not even because Act 5 is not in that, is a 400 or 500-page book. Right or Wrong 2, very big. It's going to be a big involved campaign, and what ended up happening was I realized that those weren't the right things to do when people are going through quarantine, and a lot of people didn't necessarily. Oh yeah, there you go. Dream Joe said 232 pages for Mystery 5. Yeah, but welcome to Act 2. But I realized that when there's a lot of people, when this started, a lot of people had a lot of financial uncertainty and things like that. And it wasn't the right thing to launch these big campaigns. And one of the things I wanted to do for a long time is do Buried But Not Dead, which was take all of these stories that I've done in different anthologies that are now long out of print, put them together in a new collection, maybe take a Nightmare World story or 3 that got rotated out of canon, that have never been in print, that no one has laid eyes on some of these stories in a decade since the online original Nightmare World days, and put them in a nice collection. I've had that gorgeous cover by Jan Apple, and do a campaign. But again, then it became, I didn't want to do something that was overly financially taxing. So what I've done with this campaign, which is very different, 15-day Quickstarter, and I can't say I'm the one that coined the term Quickstarter. I mean, I think it's been in the lingo of a lot of us for a while. But instead, do a 15-day campaign, all thrills, no frills. You get the book. It's $20, free shipping. Boom. You want some other books? Buy them at convention prices. No shirts, no tchotchkes, just boom.
Right.
And the other thing I did was, rather than start with the deluxe version to keep the cost in the book down, we'll see if we can get to a hardcover.
So there are stretch goals, though.
Yeah, it's more just stretch goal this time. Normally, what I'll do on a book is like with Tales of Mystery, for example, or something like that. This is the standard edition of Tales of Mystery Volume 4. It's a soft cover.
Right.
But when I launched this book on Kickstarter, you had 30 days to pre-order, and you got the hardcover. With Buried But Not Dead, the hardcover is like the ultimate stretch goal that we have.
Right.
And to me, doing a 15-day campaign with a $20 book to get to $9,999, $10,000 basically, was like, okay, get whatever. I mean, if we get, and again, and I ran the numbers, I crunched numbers on this, and it was a situation where, yeah, sure, if we get to $10,000, I will make this a hardcover book. We have 6 days left, and we're at 8,388.
It's insane. I mean, a lot of that speaks to your experience, though, too. Well, you know, you have experience. You know how to run a Kickstarter. You've ran how many
Right.
huge successful campaigns. You know what you're doing. It's for someone doing their first or second campaign, this would have been an absolutely insane goal. But you kind of can.
It's still insane. I mean, the fact that we're getting this close, it blows my mind. And here's the thing, and again, you know, I mean, I'm just gonna be real. Working on Right or Wrong Volume 2, I have a huge chapter in the book about the anatomy of Kickstarter, the anatomy of crowdfunding. And I was running all my numbers, and books I've written have raised $250,000 on Kickstarter.
It's ridiculous.
It's insane.
Absolutely ridiculous.
It's insane. It blows my mind to even say that. You know, it's insane. And but that being said, to be within less than $1,700 with 6 days to upgrade this book to a hardcover during a pandemic, it's just a testament to, I mean, admittedly, I know how to run a campaign, but I literally did not think we would be here now. And I recognize too, people go, well, you say that all the time. I don't take this stuff for granted. And you're right. I mean, it's nuts.
It's a hard time to tell. I mean, yes, you have an audience and you have a loyal audience, people who enjoy your work and they look forward to the next thing. You do have a bit, and it is a bit of a bonus added thing that people are spending right now. They're spending online. They're spending on things they like. They're spending on entertainment. They're spending on things that are going to feed them creatively.
Right.
And the comic industry, you know, in a weird way, has proven that on one side. As much as there's been difficulties with the big two and a lot of the distribution, and the industry is kind of in chaos, what it has done is what we all kind of were talking about and thought it would do is you know, it's bursted wide open into this ocean of independent creativity that people are just, you know, swimming like mad through. So, you know, people are loving it. You know, you can't depend on what you're used to depending on, but you know what? You can depend on Dirk Manning's Kickstarters. You can depend you can depend on that coming through, you know. Well,
you can definitely know that I will deliver what I say I'm going to deliver. Right. I mean, there's no question. But again, we miss you, David. Good to see you, man. Yeah, it was just, I wanted to take some time, sit back, and then it was like, okay, this is the thing to do. And to me, Buried But Not Dead was going to be a little campaign. I said that, and again, this was not a campaign I advertised months in advance. About 2 or 3 weeks out, I'm like, by the way, I'm doing this thing. And my vision for this was to be this small, compact, $20 hauler, something good in 2020. And I'm amazed and I'm shocked and I'm grateful that we're getting to like that deluxe version.
I like that people came along from the very beginning when you were first going online and just saying, hey, what I got like these ideas. What do people think of this, and that? And you started tossing it around and people gave you their thoughts, and, you know, you went back and forth a little and you thought it out until you decided to do this. And I love that people got to literally see from the very first instant of brainstorming thought right through to which I am assuming will be an awesome hardcover edition. You know, that's great fun for people to go from the beginning to them holding it in their hands too, right?
Because you're right. I didn't think about that, but you're right. I mean, I was literally doing a live stream, just catching up with everybody. And again, you know, you're my mental idea board. And I'm like, gosh, I've done a story with Riley Rossmo, who worked on The Batman Who Laughs. You know, I've done a story with, you know, Alejandro Aragon and Jan Apple and Sally Scott and Mark Winters and Austin McKinley, and you know, and these, and they're all out of print. They're gone. You know, and it was just the time to put them together. And again, there are a few people out there that have the 9 Inch Nails hardcover that story's in. You go to Amazon, that book goes for $1,000.
Right.
It's insane. You know.
Yeah.
You know, but to now collect it all, and then to take so far what's 2 Nightmare World stories that have never, ever seen print and put them in this book. And then the fact that we're within striking distance now of upgrading it to a hardcover so it matches all the, yeah, like you said, from the idea of like, maybe I'll do this, talking live to my peeps, to now we're here. I'm just grateful. I'm very grateful. I'm very excited. And it's a really cool book. That's the other thing.
It's almost your Bachman books in a way. Like, it's
Yeah.
it's those lost tales that,
Well, it is. And that's exactly
you're
right.
just putting eyes back on them. I know it's not,
No, I know what you're saying.
you weren't writing
No.
under the pseudonym of another pseudonym and all that kind of stuff. Like,
Yeah. No, but like, to me, you're right. A lot of people aren't aware that I was one of the 9 writers that Riley Rosmo asked to do a story in Dias de los Muertos. A lot of people don't know that book exists.
right.
And again, years ago, I talked to Riley and I said, hey, would I be able to reprint this? And he's like, well, if it's okay with Jim Valentino at Image. I got a hold of Jim and he's like, if it's fine with Riley, I'm like, we're good.
Right.
But
I think Amanda Parks requires a 9 Inch Nails explanation.
okay, well, Buried But Not Dead. It was started as a collection of 6 lost tales. Now, because we unlocked and again, I think I'm so funny. At 7,777, we added a 7th story. Now we're closing in on 8,888. We'll unlock an 8th story. Then at 9,999, we'll upgrade to a hardcover. All the stories in the book. Oh, look at the comments. Sorry. All the stories in the book are from other anthologies and things like that are out of print. I did a story with Mark Winters in a 9 Inch Nails anthology. It's out of print. That's in there. I did a story with Riley Rosmo. That's not there. Yeah, that's long out of print. And that don't die. It's too early. Yeah, it's too early. We got stuff to do, Jay. Don't die.
I know. Sorry, the pens can be vicious these days.
But to get to bring all these stories together, write new little introductions talking about the gestation of them, bring in some of the Nightmare World stories, which talk about planting the seed. If I was more prepared, I would have had it with me. When we did the Nightmare World Omnibus and we did the Nightmare World Bible, we had the Nightmare Nomicon bonus book. There's a page in the bonus book called Gone But Not Forgotten. And I listed all the Nightmare World stories that were produced that got rotated out of canon. We're now bringing 2 of those stories into this book and possibly a 3rd one. It's just fun. It's just this fun book. It's a cool book. And it's very thematically, I like how you said like the Bachman book idea, because originally I was afraid this was going to be like a goulash and not very, but it's these are all very poignant stories.
Okay.
They're very personal stories, because when you do a story in a one-off anthology somewhere, I mean, real talk, when Riley Rosmo, again, one of Canada's finest exports, when he asked me to do a story for Dias de los Muertos, I had one goal, and I'm sure you probably know what that goal was: to be the best damn story out of the 9.
Right.
Point blank.
Right.
I wanted to dust everybody, and I say that in terms of friendly competition, but I mean, Curtis Wheaty's in there, stuff like that. It doesn't matter.
Mm-hmm.
I don't care who's in there.
Yeah.
My goal is you have to beat me. And my story, Te Vas Angels Mio, in that I'll put up against, if you can get your hands on the original anthology, I'll put my story against anyone.
Well, okay, this is interesting because you're proud of that one, and you're revisiting old stories. So is there any kind of, and you've written new introductions and things for them now, has there been any kind of temptation to revisit these stories, to re-edit these stories? Are there any that you're putting in that you're not even, that you're okay with? Are these all stories you're super proud of? Or were you like, this one's poignant, I think I could have maybe just actually, maybe written it a little differently, but have you reread everything that you're putting in?
I did. Several of the stories, so like the 2 real life supernatural stories are more recent. Te Vas Angels Mio, that's one of the best short stories I've ever written. So that one with Riley, I bought every page of art from that story. I have them. I love that story. So that one is money. The 2 supernatural ghost stories, we just had to fix. Again, I had Drea Jo come in. She caught like a typo in one of them or something. So we fixed that. The 9 Inch Nails story was good as it was. I rotated that story was originally a Nightmare World story, but I rotated it out of canon because thematically it didn't fit the same way everything else did. It's a great story. I mean, the story is called Just Like You Imagined. And it's kind of like a true crime-ish kind of story.
Mm-hmm.
And it's good. And Mark Winters did Bitter Wine for Nightmare World. He did some other stuff. But it didn't fit in Nightmare World when you look at this big mythos anthology, you know. So I was happy to bring that one back. Then one of the Lost Nightmare World stories, We Were Not As Others, I did do a slight tightening of the dialogue because there's one bit in it when I'm like, I think I wrote that story in 2004 or 5, but I have to go back and look. But there's a lot of miles on the road between then and now.
How does it work with the lines between, well, the lines of completion, I guess? You know, there's like, okay, let's use as an example director's cuts of movies. Can you have a director's cut of a book? Can a writer have their writer's cut and revisit something later and add stuff they left out? Or maybe just, you know, can you George Lucas it and add stuff new to a book just to change the story? Is that considered just yet another draft of the book? Or once it's published, you know, is it done? Or creatively and just artistically, can it be an ongoing living thing that you can add to?
You know, that's an interesting point, especially with your Star Wars reference. I was torn on We Who Are Not As Others. Austin McKinley drew the story. Austin fully illustrated the story. He just finished Tales of Mystery Volume 5. Now, I say that because, point being, I still have a great relationship with Austin. We work together all the time. He's one of the nicest guys in comics. He really needs to get on the show, too. He's one of those ones that I keep saying we need to get him on here.
All right.
So, point being, if I wanted to George Lucas We Who Are Not As Others, that short story for Buried But Not Dead, Austin would happily do it. I know he would happily do it because we get along well. We work together well. And even when I went through to tighten the dialogue a smidge, I kind of wasn't sure if I should, because part of me was like, this is a lost tale. I want people to see it as it was as Dirk Manning in 2006 or whenever it was.
Right, because it was published. Had this been a story just sitting in your file cabinet, would you have felt the same way? You only feel that way because it was published. Had it just been a rough, final draft in your thing, you would have just picked it up and kept going on, working on it.
Right.
No problem. But being published, somehow that makes a difference. Like
it does. So what I ultimately decided was, I'm not changing the tone of the story. I'm not changing the delivery of the beats. I'm not changing the inherent thing that made the story. It's like, I just want to tighten this spot of dialogue. It's just a little loose, just so I gave it a little tweak. Perfect. Boom. But I was very conscious not to completely rewrite it. Now, jumping ahead to stuff coming out next year, we'll be getting back to Tales of Mystery Volume 5 will come out, but also the Tales of Mystery Omnibus, which is going to collect the first 4 volumes. Volume 1 of Tales of Mystery, as you know, is in black and white. I went through, and to keep tonal consistency with the rest of Act 1, went from black and white to not black and white, but grayscales to color. And again, it was like, do I maintain the original? Because I always envisioned Mystery Volume 1 as a black and white film noir. But when I'm collecting one black and white book or grayscale book with 3 colored books.
Right. Hey, it's Wizard of Oz, man.
Right. Well, partially.
It's got to get through the first one.
Right. But what I decided was, again, I George Lucas did a little bit. I went through and we completely recolored Volume 1. And now tonally, when you get that big version of the book, which will eventually be how the only way you're probably able to get it sooner or later, it's consistent. And that makes sense.
Right.
But again, you go through and then you start looking at the dialogue. And then it's, to me, you can tighten a couple of bolts here and there, but the story should exist as the story. And it should be what it was.
Right. Amanda says here that Neil Gaiman did it with American Gods. Do you know what that reference is to?
Romance others.
Did he add to American Gods, or
I think he did like a new
just
epilogue.
play with it a little?
I think he might have. Yeah. Yeah, I think he did. And again, but.
And why would you ever apologize for Neil Gaiman references?
Oh, Neil Gaiman's great.
Don't ever apologize for such a thing. Jeez.
My niece is a voracious reader, and my mom called me yesterday and said, "Hey," she said, "your niece is like you." She goes, "She's reading beyond the point of anyone else in the family. Like, finally, we got another reader."
Right.
And I was trying to. She's like, she just read. I hate to say this name right now, but separating, I guess, the person from the product. She just finished the Harry Potter books for the second time.
Right.
And she's, I want to say she's in 6th grade. Her parents tried to like give her classic literature. Like my brother tried to give her like Little Women. She's like, I don't like that. I think I'm going to read Lord of the Rings. I'm like, okay.
Right.
Like, come with me, child. So one of the things I was thinking about getting her is getting her some of the Neil Gaiman novels, because I mean, she loves speculative fiction. She loves science fiction, stuff like that, you know. And I was thinking like, and she loves dystopian stuff. So I hope she doesn't watch this podcast, but for Christmas, I'm going to get, you'd be surprised, Jay.
Yeah.
For Christmas, I'm going to get her Fahrenheit 451 by Ray Bradbury.
Right.
I was even looking at like some really like nice deluxe versions. And
How old are you in grade 6?
12.
12? I read it when I was 12.
Yeah, see, I was
going into grade 6 when I was 12. That was the year that I read it, and my mom I read my mom because she would read Stephen King books and then just pass them on to me.
Then you'd get them, right?
Yeah, and she had the big hardcover copy, right? And it took me all summer to read. It took like 2 or 3 months for me to get through the damn thing. But I think it's important for kids to be pushed. It's, a lot of the stuff that comes out nowadays that I see that is supposed to be age appropriate for my son. It's kind of there's nothing to push the brain. There's nothing to soak in there. That's why, like, we've talked in the past about my favorite book, and I think all young kids, not young kids, but maybe 10 to like 12 or 13 should read The Jungle Book. It's a fantastic book to bridge the gap from like young adult to an adult book. There's some stuff you won't get in there, but you may understand later on. Yet there are very simple lessons that, as someone becoming a woman or a man or growing into a mature adult would, start to get. There's things you can get from it.
And people have misconceptions of that book largely because of the animated Disney movie and Babalu and all that stuff.
Oh, yeah, it's like, nothing like that.
No, it's a different.
Well,
it
is.
It is, but it's a different. No pun intended. It's a different animal. And you're right. And it's interesting because with my niece, thinking about the books that are going to push her at this age, and the books that are going to intrigue her, and the books that are going to make her a lifelong reader. She'll send me stories she writes sometimes. And I have like hip to like Google Docs. So I'd send me a Google Doc, and I'm like, when your niece sends you something, oh, this will be cute.
Yeah.
You start reading it, and I'm like,
oh.
And I'm like, okay, we're gonna do real critiques.
Well, dude, you know what I got living in my house.
Yeah, yes, I do.
and dude, it's disappointing in a way that I was a voracious reader. We've talked about that a lot. Yeah. And you and I both the same, all from being young kids reading.
Look around this office.
Yeah, reading heavy books, right?
Yeah.
And my kid has just never ever been a big reader. He reads great. He's got a fantastic vocabulary. He's
not into
more than capable. It's just not his bag, baby. But this kid draws and draws and draws. It's like I've never seen a kid. I was never this focused about anything or put this much time as a 9-year-old. This kid puts in more work than I see half the like pro artists I know do, to be honest.
I've joked with you, but the day's going to come when I talk to you, and I don't care if he's 18 or 22, and I'm going to say, Jay, I want to hire him.
Right.
I mean, I'm telling the day.
Well, think of this too. this is a big question I have that's made me think about how we look at education, and the education system is, would he be nearly as good as he is now? Because he's very good for his age. Would he be that good if he did not just have the past 6 months to sit at home
Hunker down.
and practice his craft 8 hours a day, if not more, like spread out throughout the day? This kid probably draws 14, 16 hours a day while he's watching TV. He'll have his pad next to him while
Hands
he's
always
playing
moving.
video games. Man, like I've seen him playing vids with one hand and drawing with the other. I'm not shitting you. Because he'll have his iPad on with something frozen that he's drawing, and then he'll have his TV on with the video game, and they'll have the headphones on. So he's talking to his friend while he's playing like Fortnite or Roblox or whatever, and he's on Discord a lot now. And then with the other hand, he's got his shit. And it's like, oh my god,
Well,
like
it's interesting too because it speaks to the bigger disposition in the Western world here in regards to art, how art is seen first and foremost as a hobby or a kid thing. And I'm even talking about writing too, for that.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
But the interesting extrapolation of that is that now, like in regards to writing more than art, journalism's dying, for example. Again, and all the things we're losing because we're not encouraging people to follow their passion of reading and to follow the passion of writing and art and music and all of that stuff. And it's
some kind of craft, right?
Right.
Like imagine your kids were given that. Like I think kids do need a summer. I think they do need to have that 2-month break to run around and roll in the dirt and just be kids and not have to worry about anything.
I'll be honest with you, I would be okay with a month off in the summer, a month off in the winter, 2-3 weeks off, and do more year round, but like extended shorter breaks.
But either way, I think they should get like part of the school year. Imagine they were given like 1 or 2 of those, months of the school year to just focus on one particular thing that they had a passion in. Imagine what kids might be able to accomplish. It's crazy, but I mean, it's hard too, because I mean, I've really been considering teaching my son cursive lately, because if I don't, no one else is, right? Like they don't teach that shit no more. It's done. It's over.
And you're right, but you prompted something. I haven't thought about this in years. I was not surprisingly close to my English teacher in high school. My English teacher did a lot to really, really helped me in tremendous ways, really saved my life in a lot of ways. My parents even talk about that. They're like, I found out years later, my English teacher contacted my parents and said, look, this is a kid that's got a lot of potential and stuff like that. And I want to work with him a little bit to help him hone what he's got. And let you know that he's got someone here at the school looking out for him. And so I did creative writing with her. She was my English teacher, and then she did creative writing. So I took creative writing. And of course, everyone else is writing this other like fluff stuff. And I'm just in the weeds, elbow deep in this stuff. But at the end of that creative writing course, she pulled me aside, and this is what she talked to my parents about. And she said, I take 1 student a year for creative writing too. And I'm like, yeah. And I got to sit under her learning tree for another semester, whatever it was, one-on-one. It was on her planning time, and just hunkered down and really just go to the dojo, about writing.
Right.
And I don't know if I would be where I am now without that, and then my point being, the result of that,
yeah,
but because I had a teacher who cared about me and really saw what I had. She hated horror. She hated the horror stuff. She'd like play creative writing. We'd like write a poem, right? So she played like a tape of like rain, like a thunderstorm, like
right.
Everyone's.
I remember that shit. Yeah, totally.
And when you get in front of the class and you read your poem, and a tropical forest and parrots and blah blah blah, and then you get up there like Dirk, get up there, And they're thinking, okay, the weird horror kid, he can't do anything here. I get up there and, I'll never forget this. Blood is falling from the sky. And everyone's just like, God, like my teacher, she wants to flip her desk. And they're like, oh my God. It was like this guy who like died and like thought he went to heaven and then like ended up being all this, of course, all this crazy high school contrived stuff.
Right.
But she hated that stuff. But she saw how passionate I was about it. And she took the time to curate that. And that's why I am where I am today. Because
it's amazing, those moments, man. Okay, so grade 6, Mrs. Kittmer in grade 6 at Hillside Public Senior Public School.
Okay.
6, 7, 8. And this is grade 6. And what she did was for creative writing, and I have this. I'll pull it out and show it to you next time we chat.
Yeah. I want to see it. I'll find my old high school ones. I'll show you too.
For an entire term, one semester, we call them terms. Yep, and 1 hour a day was spent on writing a novel. So we wrote.
I'm drooling. I'm like
one story for the year, and we just worked on that one story 1 hour a day. And she's like, I want a minimum of like, I can't remember how many pages it was, 50 or something. I'll have to pull the book out because I've still got the book out. And we had to go through the entire process. You had to have at least 2 or 3 rough drafts and hand it in by a certain time. A certain 1 month was basically, it was like the first 2 or 3 months were like each draft. And then a final, and then, and then by the end of it, each of us had a typed, printed, assembled, laminated, covered, illustrated book that we had made. And mine was a Western. I wrote mine about Billy the Kid.
Oh,
I was huge into Westerns at the time.
Right.
Yeah. And I wrote about Billy the Kid, and it might have been called The Adventures of Billy the Kid or something. But and I still have it, man, and I'll show it to you. But yeah, it's still, when I look at it and remember all the work I put into that in grade 6, but that was the thing, like being able to just spend all that time on one thing, like you learned so much about other stuff through the process of it as well, right?
And again, you've kind of like, we're going like this deep dive regression, and I've literally never put this together until you were talking about this. So being in creative writing and then creative writing 2, I became the editor of the literary magazine for the high school. We had a literary magazine when people submit their stories.
Yeah.
So one of the things I had to do as editor, and I think I kind of ended up like becoming editor the first year too, if I'm not mistaken. I think the original person got flaked out the more I think about it. But you literally had to put the magazine together. And back in those days, it was like cutting out, the stories and like putting them on the page and Xeroxing them and using the certain color tape and stuff like that, and assembling the magazine to then Xerox and mass produce. I got it right over there, as a matter of fact. But I think about that now, and and people would do art, so then you match the art to the stories. Right. But again, those skills are the skills that I then used years later when you're doing project management and stuff like that, creating comic books.
Exactly.
And it just, God damn. I'm going to send this to my English teacher, who I will politely let her remain anonymous so that she will not be blamed for being the one bringing me into this world. But thank you. She was a mentor to me, and I love her to death. But wow, man, yeah. But it just, you don't think about how that stuff guides you in what you're doing. And then of course I went to college. I worked at the college newspaper, and back then too, they had the big boards. And you got to learn to like cut, and like you had to cut inches off your columns and all that stuff. And yeah, man, it's and now here we are doing Kickstarters, making books, $250,000 in sales, and rock and roll.
It's
what a journey
times, man.
We're
gonna do this right here.
There it is.
Where's what we're
What are we?
looking
What are we up to?
at?
What are we up to? Yeah, scroll down. Let's see that bad boy.
Well, remember, you're looking at this in Canadian as well. I don't know how often you get to do that, but in Canadian numbers,
oh, that's right. It'll look different.
you would have been looking for a goal of 4,466 Canadian dollars, and right now you're sitting at 11,253 Canadian
Oh,
dollars.
scroll down a little bit. I don't see it. I don't see the number because I don't see it on mine. Keep going. Keep going.
Oh, you can't see it there?
No, it's oh, you know what? Because my screen's up. Hold on. Here's like look at that. There it is. Now I see it. Yeah, I saw it. Oh wow! You didn't send me a screen cap of that.
And then
It looks even more impressive in Canadian.
Converted from $8,398.35
$35
pledged of
cents.
33333. That's good
Yeah.
times. That's great though. 215 backers
For a
6
week, the
days
first
to
weekend.
go.
Yeah.
And is there anything we can show them here? We can show them that. That's
Yeah.
awesome.
Look at that cover. Jan Apple did that cover. And again,
Fuck, it's
I've been-
beautiful.
I've been sitting on that piece of art for years. Because again, this was one of those, one day I'm going to get to this book.
How'd you sit on that? Wow.
Think about what else I'm sitting on.
I can't imagine after
You know.
seeing that, man. Look at this.
Here's the
stuff.
stories.
It looks beautiful.
Yeah, so these are samples, and Josh Werner at Source Point helped me do the design for this. So Tevas of Angel Mio, that was a story. We'll give a little guided tour here. That was a story that was in Riley Rossmo's book, Dias de la Mortis, printed by Image Comics. It was printed Golden Age style, so it was big, totally out of print. I Ain't Superstitious. That is a real life ghost story. Jan Apple, who did the cover, illustrated that story. My real life ghost experience in New Orleans.
Cool.
Just Like You Imagined. That is by Mark Winters. He went on to do art for Magic the Gathering, the card game. That was the story that was in the Nine Inch Nails anthology. This was a fun one. Think Twice by Alejandro Aragon, who now is doing work for, he did Death Orb for Vault. He's doing the comic book based on the TV show The Expanse. He was an artist I wanted to work with for so long back in the day, and I didn't really know him, and I was really intimidated by him because he's so good. But he got paired with me to do a story for this social issues anthology, so I got to do a short story with him. And even to get a hold of him about putting the story in the book, now that he's doing such big stuff, I was like, I'm going to use the story. And he was great with it. He talked about how much he liked working with me, and great dude. Hopefully I get to work with him again.
Cool.
The Bridge Where Carrie's Eyes Changed Color by Sally Scott. This was, again, a real life story. This was in a anthology of paranormal experiences, and all I can preface people on the story is that it's true. And people will read it, and that have read it before when it originally came out, and like, okay, well, what really happened? Like, no, that happened. Her eyes change colors. These other things in this story. I mean, I was right freaking there. It happened. This is not like a hyperbole thing.
Right.
I was there. I am like, literally, you see long-haired Dirk Manning in the story as a kid, or not kid, teenager.
Excited to read it.
Yeah. So then the last one we have listed down here is We Who Are Not As Others by Austin McKinley, science fiction story. He went on now and he's illustrated some Tales of Mystery stuff. He's doing all of Tales of Mystery Volume 5 right now. He's going to be doing some other work together soon. Actually, an unannounced Source Point anthology coming out. Yeah.
Beautiful stuff, my friend.
Thank you. And that We Were Not As Others, I have to say, has one of the funniest lines I've ever written. That's one of the Lost Nightmare World stories. We've unlocked, and I didn't share it on the page, a chibi manga Nightmare World story called Don't Stop Dancing.
Ooh.
And we might be unlocking one more by David Miller, who went on to do a bunch of stuff for Top Cow and things like that. So
that's fun.
Yeah,
Dude,
and then we get to the hardcover. Thank you. I
just kind of pulled this together, at the last minute.
Well, again, it's
You've been sitting on some beautiful stuff, man.
Yeah, that's it. And
Yeah.
I this was one of those.
I don't know if I've actually. Hold on. I don't know if I've seen this.
Oh, look at that ugly face. Whew. Look at that. Oh, I will tell you, hey, pause that real fast.
We don't
I'm
even
gonna
need to
do it. Yeah,
see
you
that.
make it
You
as
just probably
unflattering as
said
possible.
everything that you probably say there anyways, right?
No, it's not, it literally was me just holding the phone right here. There is in this video somewhere, I'm not going to say where, a hint, a spoiler, if you will, to a massive project I have coming out next year with SourcePoint Press.
Ooh. Am I supposed to let it play through on that note?
No. People can go to the page.
Yeah, go watch it, people.
Go to Kickstarter. Go look up "Buried but Not Dead."
Right there.
You can
Lost
look it up.
Tales Volume 1.
Yeah, we got funded in under 6 hours.
Now I'd like to also do this while we're here. See
oh,
this
you
one right
dog!
here? Everybody see this right here? This
Yep, do it.
little area on Kickstarter. It's
Project
called
Canadian
Projects We Love. I believe if look around over here,
Burrito Pop.
how many are there? They pick.
They do. I'm not gonna lie. They do a fair amount.
Did they do?
I was curious if I was gonna get it again on this because I'm only doing 15 days.
Right.
I'm like, watch day 14, they'll love me or something.
So there's enough of them that I'm gonna sit here and scroll through this shit forever, probably.
Well, you gotta remember, like you can see like documentaries, technology. They love a lot of stuff. But you are amongst the beloved.
Yeah, well, Cauldron was amongst
Zerker,
the beloved there, which is super cool. Before we sign off here, let's just do a quick. Let's see what those boys are sitting at. Oh wait, comics and illustration. There's a whole thing right here too.
Yeah, man.
I bet you there's a shitload of that. I've never explored this kind of way of.
Oh man, I'll tell you what, brother. I love going to Kickstarter and just exploring the comics section and finding books to back. I've backed over 260 projects on Kickstarter and just finding comics that, and you feel bad because a lot of times your friends are on Kickstarters and it's like, I can't back everything, but sometimes I also like to back something from someone who I don't necessarily know either to get new stuff.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
But yeah, you can go there and just go shopping. It's like, you don't necessarily want to go to a comic shop right now. Cool, man. Go to Kickstarter. Do it that way. Go that route.
Here we go. Let's take a peep in on the Cauldron boys here.
Yeah, bring it up. We talked.
Put them over the All right. $5,570 out of a $999 goal. I believe that puts us highly in the 500 percentile. 151 backers. Fantastic.
Very cool. I am the one in 151.
There you go. Nice.
I did. I backed.
There's that cover, kids, that we were talking about earlier. Now, Dirk, what you haven't seen, Dirk? What you haven't seen is this. Ready? There's another version of this.
I saw you guys did the adult version.
Yeah.
I like the clothed one. I'm not gonna lie. When I was little, like I would like fast forward like the sex scenes and stuff because I don't care about that. I want to see the movie. I want to see the story. Look at that guy.
Now that's my character, kids. That's the dweller in the cellar. But
I love the eye. I love the eye.
That's the wonderful Casey Parsons there, and he likes to ugly him up. So yeah, I got a milky white.
I thought it was a photo for a second.
You're cute. There's really, I can't believe the amount of talent in this book. Like Daniel Wong this year. Like look at that,
dude, incredible.
It's
incredible.
Oh, it's
I've known the magazine
and an example of how far it goes the other way too, right?
Well, I mean, right. I mean, you got kind of the coupe thing going, whatever, but just the quality of the art, and that's what I was saying earlier. For people that like my anthology stuff, this is well worth backing.
Lots of monsters and stuff.
Greedily, in a greedy fashion. I can't wait for a big Cauldron trade paperback with all 4 issues so far because Casey Pierce did a story in volume 1, and a lot
she was in 2. She in the first volume she just did like a page, just a 1-page thing, and then she did another story with Casey Parsons in the next one. And yeah, they literally put them together because they're Casey's. Like that's how much fun. Like a story is born. They're like, you're both named Casey, so you guys do something. Like
Hilarious.
that's the simplicity of how this magazine comes about, and it's just super fun. That was cool. Out of nowhere. I'm sorry I didn't promote it. It was fun that this stayed surprised. Like me and Dirk just talked the other day. We're like blah 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 Thursday, blah blah blah.
Yeah, well, like Buried but Not Dead, sometimes you just gotta do things spontaneous and exciting fashion. Last time I was on, it was with the Broken Gargoyles crew and stuff like that. But selfishly, I also just want to talk to you. But
All
just
good.
again,
Anytime,
there's 6 days left in the campaign. We've unlocked 4 stretch goals already. We're within $500, I think, of unlocking an 8th story in the book. Then we get to a Kickstarter exclusive hardcover. So we gotta see if we can do some cross promotion with Cauldron and push each other out there a little bit. I think is our next step here.
I think you should be in the goddamn magazine.
Hey man, you know what? I would do it.
We'll see what happens. See, that's the cool thing about Cauldron is they don't. It's not like there's never a call for artists anymore or anything like that, because it was friends, right? Like everybody added to the magazine is just another friend. So it grows so organically. I think that's where the fun of it's coming from,
Absolutely.
But there's lots of cool people that need to be involved. That's why it was cool that Casey was involved, and
luckily I'm tight with the Dweller in the Cellar.
Right there, you go.
I would, and that's the thing too. It's funny because we talked earlier to come full circle as we wrap it up. Do you ever extend your work? And in Nightmare World was such a seminal work for me. We did the 4 volumes. We did the 52 stories of canon. Then we got the extra stories floating out there in the ether that we're now slowly divvying out in these like Lost Tales books. But when I got into doing Nightmare World, by and large, I'm like, I've done the genre short story thing. I did it more than 52 times over. Now I'm doing my horror noir, Tales of Mystery. Now I'm doing Hope. Now I'm doing Cthulhu Jr. Now I'm doing this. But then after a while, you're like, gosh, I would love to do just a genre horror short story again. But I need a place to put it.
Right.
So then you and I talk or whatever, or someone has an anthology coming out. I'm like, hey, man, how about we, kind of loosen up.
That's how it works, man. That's how it works.
Use the
Everything
wheel
bleeds
again.
together into a wonderful giant ocean of creative juice. I love it. That's what I do, man. I just facilitate the fucking rowboats and shit, and you all meet up and make some cool stuff. So, but
Amen.
lots of fun stuff coming in the future. What was it? 6 days left on the Quickstarter?
We got 6 days left on
Yeah.
Quickstarter. Go to Kickstarter, look at Buried but Not Dead. We are about less than about $1,600 and change away from a hardcover. We are $500 on the nose away from.
Have it by the morning. Everybody go and make it happen. All right, there you go. That's good. Dirk, thanks again, bud. It was it's always a pleasure. I'm sure we'll do this again sometime very, very soon. Yes,
I'm sure. I mean, my cheap plug is we leave, and I can plug this now that it's done. Haunted Highlands was nominated for 3 Ringo Awards.
Oh my God! How did we not talk about that? Congratulations, man!
Not dead. You know what? Because Mike Winnegar gets a break today.
No, you should have brought that up, Alessandro and stuff, man. Like,
oh yeah. Well, no, we're giving the plug now because I can plug it because voting is over. I didn't want to be a guy coming out pandering for votes.
Right. Of course. Yeah.
But Haunted Highlands got nominated for Best Humor Comic of 2020.
Right.
Mariana Pescosta got nominated, very well earned, for Best Illustrator of the Year. She's up with Fiona Staples, like crazy stuff. And then Alessandro De Fornassari got nominated for Best Colorist. All in this book right here. This book that and Jay, you were here from the ground floor. You were there when Twisted was in New York and everything else.
I love those guys. They're awesome.
I'm just gonna take my one moment. Did I not say this book is going to turn heads and not be what people think?
Yeah, but to be fair, you say that about everything you do.
And
kidding.
This
book was something special.
Yes.
And it was something that I was excited about, not just because of the amazing subject matter involved, but the fact that you were stepping out of a comfort zone,
Uh-huh.
you know, this was such a success, especially for, you know, something that you're not used to doing. This was a whole kind of new thing for you, and it's been
Yeah.
a huge success, and I'm
Look at
super
that.
fucking happy and proud of you, man.
Look at that about Mariana and Alessandro. Yeah, the
Right.
writing.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah, they
yeah.
fucking they murdered
Yeah,
the
the
whole
fact that
thing.
their first major work that they both got nominated for Ringos. So Mariana Alessandro,
Right.
amazing.
There was other nominations, I believe, that are of note to us. Were there not?
Well, I just know that
I'm
we got.
blanking out right now.
No, we were the only Source Point nominations this year. Was
Right,
for
but no, there was someone, or maybe it was just so many people online saying, "Please vote for me." Like, I really do appreciate that you didn't do that, because it was an absolute onslaught of creators asking for people to vote for them. And I
yeah,
don't like these I prefer the non-voted awards. I really do. That's why I appreciate like the Joe Shuster awards here. Like it's
right.
our Eisner awards, and it's like a council. Like, you
It's
know, it's a
tough.
select group of people making an informed, educated decision about something, not just how many
Yeah.
people like it most.
Well,
right?
see, and that's why, again, there's always the kind of the joke, and even you made the joke a moment ago about Dirk Manning always overhyping himself and blah, 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 you know, and always promoting like crazy. And I promote my work because I'm like really, really, really proud of my work, and it's good. I work with very talented people, but you don't necessarily often see me out there doing these popularity contests. And
Yeah.
you're right, and they leave a really bad taste in my mouth. That's why I like the Ringos, because it is fan nominated, but then it's juror decided. You know,
Exactly. Okay.
so but again, with the Ringos, like anything else, you have people going out there saying, calling their friends, vote for me, vote for me, vote for Haunted Highlands. Do I want people to vote for Haunted Highlands? Absolutely.
Yeah.
I think it's a good book. I think it's worthy of the vote. I think Mariana and Alessandro absolutely deserve it. I think Haunted Highlands is a book. It's a team between myself and Twisted and everybody. Absolutely deserves it. But what you're not going to see is me calling everybody I know, who you vote for. Vote for what you want.
Right.
You know, this is truly an honor to be nominated. We were nominated. No one can ever take away from the fact that we were nominated for 3 Ringo Awards.
It's amazing, dude. I'm so happy for all you guys, the whole goddamn team. I'm proud to have been there to witness it from the beginning. I may be thinking of Afterlift. The digital comic from Chip Zdarsky and Jason Liu that won the Eisner.
That I think there were some of our Canadian friends were nominated, I think, for the Ringos too, if I'm not mistaken. I have to look.
That's what I think's sticking in my head, because I know there was not other Source Point, but I know someone I know was also nominated, because it was really good. It was some amazing nominations this year.
Oh my dude, top to bottom, I couldn't believe it. I mean, let me rephrase that. I know how talented Mariana and Alessandro are. Alessandro is actually coloring Tales Mystery Volume 5 as well now. Has been.
Nice.
I know how talented they are. It was shocking to me to see us get recognized, like Haunted Highlands for Best Hero Books up against Rick and Morty.
Yeah, right?
You know, it's like, wow, man.
Man. The Zub.
That's what's up, right?
I literally had to comment on one of Jason Liu's, because they got the Eisner.
Yep.
And then I think the Ringo. And then I think they're nominated, and they're also up for, I think, maybe a Schuster Award. But I don't know. It was like the 3rd or 4th award or something. And I had to comment. I was just like, dude, can you just like lay off all the goddamn winning? Like, this is ridiculous, right? And it's amazing that it came out of like basically Comixology started doing the digital comics, and they went to Chip Zdarsky and said, "Well, you make us a comic." And Chip was like, "Okay, can I use so I want?" And they were like, "Okay." So he went and put together this fucking mega force of Toronto talent, just like crazy. Like, I don't know if you've had the chance to read the book, but you should check it out and read it. Especially Paris Celine does the colors on this book.
Mm-hmm. No, I'm familiar with it. I haven't read it front to back
Paris is like I'm just shocked he hasn't he's done a lot of great stuff and he's got a fantastic career going, but I'm surprised he just hasn't blasted into that certain plateau yet. Because here and in Toronto and Canada, he's it, right? Like he's the colorist of colorists pretty much going on. And that's just his gig. And I'm so happy for them all to be getting this attention and everybody on that team. And it's so cool of Chip, to, as he's always done, continue to bring up the underlings in the Canadian comic community. So thanks, Chip. And,
I'm going to show you, talking about people that you're so happy to see getting recognized. I use this spread as an example. Look at, it's kind of with the glare. Look what Alessandro's doing in the backgrounds. In their smoking room and their smoking bod studio,
yeah.
I'm I've told him before, I'm like, you guys can go 75% and you will still dust 90% of the people. Just the stuff
Great
they got
work
going on,
man.
It's insane. So to see them get recognized and see Haunted High Ends, but my moral of the story was, you said we'll talk again soon. Haunted High Ends Volume 2, brother. We gotta get the guys on the podcast.
You all gotta get your shit together. Oh, that'd be awesome if we could sit down and do a proper hour chatting with the fucking guys. It's as amazing as it has been, and
they've been doing more and more
so
podcasts.
Appreciate getting to do it live on spot with them in those moments. Yeah, I'd love to sit down and have a proper chat.
So what shit do I get together? What are you busting on me for?
Not you in particular, but your goddamn country needs to get its goddamn shit together. So I can come back there. Yeah. Because I can't. And it may be a really long time. Because I'll tell y'all kids out there in the Americas who may be listening, your president recently was talking about how Canada really wants the borders open. That's a complete load of shit. About 90% of the population of this country wants those borders to stay the fuck closed because we're terrified of what you're gonna bring over here. And it's nothing personal, but yeah, it's just a rampant wildfire. So why don't you all just stay the fuck home, put on a goddamn mask when you're not, and get over this shit so I can come back, please? We did it. We literally did it. There was no debate. They were like, you need to do this. And we went, okay, let's do this. So we don't all fucking die. And we're not all dying. So we're good. I could go to the movies safely if I wanted and stuff like that. I know a lot of your stuff's all open now, but it just terrifies me. It is.
I am the horror writer who literally wrote a book about people in denial of a pandemic.
Right.
Of course, the pandemic I did was monsters, was demons.
Right.
There's literally a bit in volume 4 where, because people think all the monsters are gone, when Ranibus goes rampaging down the freaking street, and they're like, "My gosh, look at that gorilla!" It's like a flaming headed gorilla. Is it? So I was writing about this weird denial years ago. So I know, man, I'm probably not the best guy to ask about, we getting our stuff together, because we just need to do what we got to do. We need to get back to normal. We get so we can see each other again.
I'm more concerned about the impending Civil War sequel that's going to come on November 4th, but we'll worry about that when we get to it. But for now, kids, it's getting late.
How about for now we read some good comics?
We read some wonderful comics. Go out there, and of course, we would be remiss to not mention Broken Gargoyles out there. Get your Broken Gargoyles. Look at the beautiful Mr. Rework. But Gargoyles, the Broken Gargoyles.
Get on it.
Jesus, get out there and get it, because it's real hard to get now because it's moving fast.
I cannot stress enough how much SourcePoint's been putting out hype titles for a while.
Insane stuff lately.
Now we're getting to the point where we're getting that next level where it's not just...
People have been around the block once or twice now.
Yeah,
right? You notice these are like third and fourth titles from people.
That's it. You got guys like Bob Sally who did Ogre and did Ogres and did Salvager. And now he's building to a crescendo with things like Broken Gargoyles and just...
Right. And tonight and kids, go over to the SourcePoint press page and check out Garrett Gunn was on Get to the Point with Chris Tadlock tonight. That was going on over there. Also, No Heroin's been doing super duper well. It sold out a bunch of places.
Lots of stuff.
Yeah, so much cool stuff. Nora Volume 2, pre-orders, trade paperback and stuff. Get out there and get that.
And brother,
Awesome stuff.
I'll close out on this. Wait till you see the Dirk Manning 2021 stuff.
Woo!
Brother, mark this moment.
Right.
Wait until you see it. I mean, like I said, there's a hint of
If
one
I
of the
see
things.
you in 2021, then I will get to see it.
Brother, we're gonna see each other one way or the other, and just I know it's time. I know you gotta go. Here, ready? Here's mine. Ready? You got your candy, and I got my. Yeah, there it is. Hey, ready? Look.
Yeah. Nice.
See, this is the stuff I didn't do. So people
I've
that
got
don't
precious few. I've got like maybe half the box left. Precious few, man.
know,
Precious
the
few.
matches, the
Well,
matchbook we did.
Yeah.
Do you need more? I might know a guy.
I want more. I love matches.
Can I send matches to? We had a big problem actually mailing those out. Can I?
No.
Can I
Because
send
you know,
matches?
Matthew Knoll of Source Point Press, he ordered some or Oxide Media, I guess I should say. He ordered some like flavor tobacco, like for his vape. And he tried to like send it to me to go there. And I was like, it's not gonna get to you just because it comes through me. I can't send tobacco shit over the border, man. It just doesn't work that way. You can't do it.
What if I go to the border and you come to the border? Can I like
Can we
toss them over?
right?
That's
We'll
like
have to look
neutral
into
water.
that. Yeah.
One of the Great Lakes, we can just like take little boats out. Just
Bottles? We could just send like corked bottles with stuff in it across the fucking river and hope.
I will. You know, I'm going to do the Jay. I'm going to put aside some more of the limited edition Tales
Please
of
do.
Mystery books. Look at that. Yeah.
So special. Dirk Manning, everybody.
Thank
Check it
you,
out.
brother.
Buried but not dead on Cauldron. Dirk, we love you very, very much.
Jay,
Kids, stick with your shit. It's gonna be all good. That is all we are gonna have this week on An Elegant Weapon. Tacaris.
An Elegant Weapon is brought to you by Nemesis Studios.
Oh, that Nemesis Studios was the old Stan
An elegant weapon
intro. Aw.
on a more
Sentimental
civilized
stuff,
day.
kids. But everybody, seriously, one love. Take
Be
it
good.
easy. And
stay safe.
see you real soon. Yes, be safe.
Back comics.